Welcome back. Let us now get the facts on Talk of the Nation tonight. This week saw a spate of violence not seen before at Makerere University following up protests against a planned increment in tuition fees. When the dust and mud settled yesterday, more than 60 students were in police custody, with more than a dozen hospitalized after a spate of beatings by a combined force of the police and the military. We now understand the authorities have been meeting over the matter. To update us on this particular issue is the Deputy Spokesperson of Kampala Metropolitan Police, that is Luke Owoyesijide. Welcome to Talk of the Nation tonight.
Thank you very much.
First and foremost, was it necessary for the police and the military to be in the university?
Yes, it is necessary. That falls under our mandate in policing the university and the surrounding areas. And whatever happens in the university should go in according to the laws that govern the country at large. So if the students were organizing any demonstration, they should have relied upon the Public Order Management Act to make sure that their message is relayed out in any form of way that was, of course, legal.
Are you trying to say that students were going against the Management Act that you're talking about?
Yes, in many cases, some of these students are, according to the information we had and we had gotten, some of them had decided to make strikes, even in the night. And of course, upon getting that information, we had to come in and make sure that we thwart those organizations, and many of them were arrested. And currently today, some of them have been released. Actually, all of them have been released, and but on bond, as we still investigate on their cases. We
did see some footage or some videos of the army really beating and battling and brutalizing the students late in the night. Were they really striking late in the night? Was it necessary for the army to get in and attack the students?
Like I say, this was a joint task team, and we had information that some of these students had organized, because the arrests were not just random, that we were arresting everyone. We had information of the types of people that had organized this, and those are the people we singled out and arrested.
Were you summoned by the university authorities, or was it just your own call?
Of course, this is something, of course, that whenever we get information, you should know that there is a force, a standby police station that is always there 24/7 to respond to any images that whenever needed. We don't need to consult the management of the school when we know something is going wrong. If they are killing someone, I don't have to call the vice chancellor and inform him that someone is dying. How should I respond? That is our work, and we make reports after.
We also saw a number of disabled individuals being attacked or beaten. Would you justify that action? Well,
we saw the reports also on the media that some of the disabled students were actually beaten. And that is something that, of course, we ought to look into. If it is true they were beaten and they did nothing. But one thing is for sure, that those that were actually singled out were arrested. So if someone was beaten, then it should be investigated. Why? And why wasn't he arrested anyway, if he was involved in the criminal activities that were bound to take place that night?
Okay. And for you, our viewers that are watching us tonight, you too can comment on the extent of the intervention by the police and the army in quelling the protests at Makerere University this week. We are trying to understand whether these actions were really necessary. And also, I would like to, we do understand the police and the university authorities have been meeting over the matter. Yes. What is the latest in regards to that?
We've gotten, of course, the side of the university. We want this issue to be resolved as soon as possible. And one thing we've gotten to understand, that some of the students, actually, the ones that we've been calling students, are actually not university students, some of them. That's why we have 6 people in our custody still with us. These are people who actually probably ferried from other universities, ferried from surrounding areas to join in this strike. Having their own agenda altogether, probably not the agenda of some of the students who are actually participating in these strikes. They probably have their own agenda, and that is why we are still detaining them and looking into the matter. We feel there is an influence of some foreign people outside the university, that I could call it a foreign force who's influencing some of these riots and also making the matter be exaggerated. This is something, according to the university, that was discussed last year, and some of the students agreed about it. Some of the leadership agreed about it. And why come out this time when actually the semester or the year is almost ending? Why come out and show dissatisfaction, which they should have shown in the beginning? So we believe there is something as security that is actually behind all this, and that is something that we ought to look into. And the university administration also agrees with that.
Okay, staying with the meeting that you're currently having with the university authorities, what are the likely outcomes of this meeting? Well,
the likely outcomes is, of course, for the classes to go on as normal. Of course, they are going on as normal. And I believe the university should sit down and look for solutions for this, because that is not our role. They plan, they know how this fee structure goes. They can make sure that they always come out with solutions, probably long-lasting solutions, because this is something that we are tired of getting over and over again, year in, year out.
Year in, year out. We actually see students in running battles with the police almost every now and then. But with the way you handle students during strikes, don't you think you're instilling fear in them, in that every single time they see you in the university, it will be a reason to worry? Doesn't that worry you?
Of course, that is something that as security agencies we don't want. We wouldn't want to instill fear in the university student, but we would also want to put out this message that you as a student, you might want to show your dissatisfaction to whatever is going on. But there are those who are not well informed, because we've seen messages, threats, where they were saying freshers have denied to be part of this activity, so make sure you force them to come out and be part of this activity. Some of these are year 3 students who are putting out these messages. So these people who are actually naive about whatever is happening, I don't know whether they are naive or they don't want to get involved or whatsoever, they are scared of their lives. We get complaints like this at the police station. So we ought to be balanced in making sure that everyone is secure. They should know that making sure that your rights are heard, you shouldn't infringe on some other person's rights also.
So it's basically someone trying to...
Yeah, so they should know that there are actually people who want to go on with their studies and don't want to get involved. If you want to be involved in your strikes, go through the normal procedures of the Public Order Management Act, and that is something small.
So who is going to account for the property damaged for those that have...
Of course, the property damaged, for instance, they were saying doors that were broken. That is something that, of course, those are university halls that we can sit down with the university and find lasting solutions.
So who's going to account for it exactly? Is it the university or is it the police? Because you are the ones that invaded
like I said,
the university halls.
Like I said, at the end of any operation that we do, we make reports. If it lies on us to make sure that something like that is looked into by the security agencies, of course, there's no worry about that.
So anyway, as the spokesperson of the police, these students that have been released on bond, are there chances that the charges against them will be dropped?
Of course. I'm a police officer. My only work is just to investigate. I investigate and forward the file to the DPP. The DPP can say these charges are dropped. I cannot drop any charges. I cannot force anyone to be prosecuted. So the decision lies in the hands of the DPP. Okay,
right. Yes. Finally, if you got a chance to speak to those who are badly injured and are now in hospital, what would be your words to them?
Well, those that are actually injured and actually in a hospital and alleging this brutality was forced onto them by the security agencies, they can always come forward and inform us accordingly to who could have done this brutality to them. But I believe the power that was exerted to some of them, actually the people that we had in ourselves, was proportional, because they're also fighting back. And what do you expect from an officer who's trying to arrest you and you're also fighting back in a way? So I believe there's something, if some of our officers went to the extreme, that is something that we can look into upon getting some of the complaints.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us on Talk of the Nation and giving us your side of the story. That was it in Talk of the Nation, but please do keep it NTV Weekend Edition.